Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to our last episode in season 2. Yep, I'm super excited to be here with you. And this is so great. It's so good to see you all here. I'm super excited. I'm really, really super excited to see everyone here. Okay, today has been an amazing day. Just everything happening at the same time. But I'm just happy to be here. So, good evening and welcome to our 12th episode in season 2 of Friday Night Hangout. And this is our wrap up episode for season 2. So, who is excited? I'm super excited. I'm really super excited. And we've had an amazing time in season 2. I'm sure you would agree with me. We've had so much nuggets in season 2. We've had lots of value. We've had great women come on and share with us from their wealth of experience and knowledge. And so, good evening and welcome once again. If this is your first time of joining us in the Friday night hangout, I am super excited to welcome you. I'm your host, Joy Onyeso, and this month is a Women's Month. We're having conversations on women's participation in leadership and decision making. So let me see your thank God it's Friday. Your thank God it's Friday. Your thank God it's Friday. Great. Thank you. Welcome, Shan George. Welcome, Njideka. Welcome, Daisy, Vivian, Royalette. Welcome, everyone. This is our timeout. This is a place where we learn, relearn, unlearn, and we learn how to just celebrate ourselves. We learn, relearn, relearn, learn. Oh my goodness. This is our weekend. That's why we say thank God it's Friday. We're gradually, sliding into the weekend. Time to take it easy. Time to distress, and just time to breathe. So, if you're here, be ready to laugh. Be ready to learn. Be ready to network. This is our safe space. No judgment. This is where we just be ourselves. We learn how to do us, be us, and just be happy. And I am just so delighted that we have a general in the women's movement in the house with us today. You can't imagine how excited I am to have her. She is one woman who I really. Daisy, come and do the fingerprint thing. When I say a lot is happening today, you won't just understand. My phone went into a temporary pause mode, and I'm using Adaisy's phone. So please bear with me. I may just go off temporarily to sort this out, but we're here. We're just here. We're resilient. We're going to make sure we get through this exciting edition. And so I was saying, I have an Amazon in the house. We call her the General. She's a general in the field. She's a general in the women's movement. We adore her and we just respect the work she does on the ground. And so I'm going to be calling on Dr. Abiola Akiyode to join us shortly. And you know how we do the Friday night hangout welcome. I would love for you to just welcome her. So permit me to just add on our general. I'm bringing her in.
Hi.
Yay! Welcome, General. We call her
Thank
General.
you.
General.
Great Nigerian women.
Yay!
Great.
Oh my goodness. So when I respect the work she does on the ground, she moves. She's an action woman. So if you're here today, you are blessed. You're really blessed because she's filled with so much knowledge and so much experience. And she's going to be pouring out into us this evening in a very relaxed mode. It's not easy to get Dr. Biela to come on this show because she's super busy. She's somewhere out of her normal space. So I really appreciate her taking the time out to just spend this 30, 40 minutes with us. We deeply appreciate. So welcome, sis. Welcome, General. Welcome, Dr. Abiola Akiyode. I would give you the floor to self-introduce, and then we'll take it up from there. So the floor is yours.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, my sister. I love the work you do, and thanks for all what you're doing for the movement in Nigeria. It's a great pleasure to be at Friday Hangout. I have had the opportunity of listening in one of these days, and it was really marvelous. So I've been looking forward to this. So thank you very much for bringing me up here. I'm Abiola Akiyode Afolabi. That's my name. I head an organization called Women Advocates Research and Documentation Center. And by the side, I also lecture at a very great University of Lagos in their faculty of law. So I teach them human rights, I teach them gender and the law, and I also teach them constitutional law. I'm also part of the Feminist Manifesto. I'm also part of a larger feminist movement called Feminist Alliance for Rights. So I am a feminist, not a feminist but a feminist, absolutely a feminist, you know. So I believe in the rights of women and girls, and that's what I've been doing. I started doing this since when I was 13. So I'm over 50 now. So I'm already already
A
grown,
grandma in
grown in the
movements.
world. Abio, you can imagine.
You can
So
now
that's who I
understand why
am.
people had the general.
So I've been here for a while. I've been here for a while. And I have the opportunity of being tutored by very great women who were my mentors, Professor Jadisola Konde, Bisi Olatero Olagbegi of blessed memory, Obi Nwankwo, and a whole lot of great women from all across the country, because I believe in the country Nigeria. So I move and I work with everyone, very detribalized, and so Bilikisu Yusuf, So I have some very great mentors. Some of them have passed on, some of them are still here. Joy Izelo, Bisi Erelu Bisi Fayemi, and quite a number of women, Koyo Toyo, everywhere, around. So and I'm happy, Sadatu Madi, I'm happy to be here. So I'll be sharing some of the things I've learned from them, some of the things I found in my work, some of the things that we do hope to do as women's movement.
Thank you so much. And please do permit me, I'll be referring to her as the general because that's what we call her. We call her the
Thank
general. You've
you.
just said a little bit of a bio. If you haven't read my Facebook page, please go on my Facebook page. I have a full, in fact, that's not even a full bio, it's an abridged version of her bio. So you please go there and read through her profile, and you know that we have a great general in the house today. And this is really very significant for us because we're in the Women's Month. And everything we've been doing in the month of March has just been revolving around women's participation in leadership and women's participation in decision making. I'm also very delighted that we have you, General, to wrap up the season 2 episode of the Friday Night Hangout. It is very instructive, and I do know we're going to have a great and engaged time today. Not to waste much time, I want us to just dive deep into the conversation by asking you what the important, this month of March we say is the Women's Month, not just in Nigeria but globally. And
Yeah.
what would you say is the importance of celebrating Women's Month, especially when we talk about women's participation in leadership and decision making?
Well, it's very instructive, especially where we are, you know, globally, where people we're still negotiating our rights, we're still reaffirming our rights. The Women's Month has always been the month of March, and where ordinarily we all go to the US to for the Commission on the Status of Women, where women gather together and we have a whole lot of activities. But because of this COVID, all of us, we were at home, but we still contributed immensely to that process. It's always a time. It's also the International Women's Day month, which was March 8th. So it's a time for reflection. It's always a time for us to also come together and see what we have been able to do, what has worked, what has not worked. How do we begin to work more, together, to be able to achieve some of the things that we have set for ourselves. I think if you look at when the UNCSW started in the 60s, it's almost about 60 years ago, a lot seems to have been achieved, even in terms of networking. When you meet women globally, you begin. I can count a whole lot of network that came from my engagement, with the CSW, either online or at the CSW meeting itself. So it's a step in terms of building alliance. So the Women's Month is that time, for us to celebrate ourselves. It's that time for us to step back and re-strategize. It's that time for us to give ourselves more confidence, to be able to move and forge ahead. It's a time for us to lean on one another and see that we push our agenda as feminists, as women, across the world together. So it's a time that we celebrate. It's also a time for reflection. It's a time for reevaluation. It's a time for reassessment. And that's what we have been doing in the last few days in the month. Maybe I should also say that at a point in time, Nigerians were also saying, beyond the celebrated March as Women's Month, can we have a Nigerians Women's Month? And I think that conversation was on the table, and we're looking at maybe April, as our own specific Women's Month. So carrying over from March, then we have the Nigerian Women's Month, then we can celebrate but I think that conversation is still, out there, that maybe we need the time to celebrate ourselves. We have done a lot as Nigerians in Africa in terms of the intervention we have made. Look at our sister, Dr. Konjo. Well, she's out there, representing Nigeria. And we have several Nigerians in different places, several women, also leading at different places who are Nigerians. And that's why it's important for us to bring these women so that they become role models for those women who are coming back, so that we celebrate. So I want to congratulate my sister for making sure that this month she brought up a whole lot of issues, relating to women. I thank you for all what you are doing. I don't expect less. We are in the trenches together, so I know what it is. Well done, Joy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, General. And you've said a lot, and I've just been reflecting on what you said. Too many nuggets right there, and that really encapsulates everything that speaks to the spirit of the Women's Month. But oftentimes, I've been asked the question as to, okay, what is the relevance of what we do to the everyday woman, and how does the activities we carry out impact on their lives? What would you really say has been some of our major achievements?
I think that we've really gone far. Um, and maybe to a lot of people, they would say, oh, what really have they done? Well, there has been a lot of things that we've done. If I sit back here, we started off what see in the year 2000. And if I go back to that year, which is about 21 years ago, by 2000, we had only 3 women in the
Mm,
entire space. At the national, we have, I think, about one deputy governor. We have very few women in the parliament. And from there, we started moving. In 2003, there were more women again. 2007, so we had more. Then 2011, 2015, then 2019, yes, we had some challenges and we had to go back a little bit. But we have gotten to 7%. We have gotten to 10% of women in the Senate at the point in time. Even currently, at the Senate level, we have about 8 out of 108. So there has been some, we have been able to shift. And so the question people would ask is, so those women in leadership, what contribution have they made, to change the process? Let me take, for example, the current Minister for Women Affairs. I'm in Maiduguri as I'm speaking. And I'm aware that she was supposed to come into Maiduguri yesterday, maybe because of flight delay and all of that. She could not make it. But whether we like it or not, during our own intervention, she has done quite a lot in terms of engagement, which we have not seen in a while. Where you see a Minister of Women Affairs attending everybody's program, a Minister of Women Affairs, so just you invite her for a program, she comes up, she shows up. You rarely find people who are in high places like that who, you know, relate to. So I'm saying that. So in the kind of women that we have in leadership, we can also say that we have recorded, some kind of progress. Now, in terms of, so how do we affect the life of other women, in Nigeria? Laws have been changed. By the time in 2000, we have very few laws, affecting life. There was no law on domestic violence, none
yeah.
on violence against prohibition. Child Rights Act was not passed. So So many things that could national policy, was not there. So, and all this happened 2003. We gathered together, we raised issue, so they passed the Child Rights Act, at the national level. Thereafter, organizations were working at different levels. As we speak today, about 26 states, have been able to pass them. Those laws have affected people's life differently. They've used it to address issues of custody. They've used it to address the issue of child marriage in some states. They've used it to address the issue of slavery of women, children, and all of that. So, in a way, in those 26 states, they've also strengthened the welfare for children and all of that. So, I would say that that is affecting, a whole lot of people. In 2007, the National Gender Policy came. And if you remember Mama Patient, the former First Lady, she picked up the National Gender Policy during their election, and we started talking about 35% affirmative action, which was a little bit higher, but it became popular. The last time they were talking about increase like that was during the time of Beijing, you know. But now in 2010, 11, it became another issue. So women began to use that to make demands. And of course, some gains here and there. I can remember that in Ogun State, for example, when women came together and challenged the government increased the number of women appointments to about 49%. And we're seeing some of those in Kano. We saw that also happened in Cross River at the point in time when Lai Moke was there. We even saw what they call twinning, where there are when you have a chairman who is a man, you have a deputy who is a woman. In Lagos, there was increase in number. So my point is that it might not look like we have really moved as such, but there has been some kind of marginal movement, which are also important to be recognized. That so it is not all about nothing has worked. Look at Lagos later. Lagos passed the domestic violence bill, prohibition bill law. It became a law in Lagos. And thereafter, we have about 21 states today that have passed the violence against persons prohibition law. This was as a result of the work that civil society have been doing. Today, a lot of states are talking about making rape either a life sentence or death by hanging and what have you. These conversations were not there. Of recent during COVID, women organization came together and said, why is COVID treating the life of people like this? So they came together and they began to push for a state of emergency. And they negotiated that state of emergency. And today, the governors of, they came up with state of emergency. As of today, the Speaker of the House, Bajabia Miller, some years back would not even speak gender. Today, he sent out a tweet to everyone to say, let us support gender and equal opportunity bill. It didn't just happen like that. It's because of the efforts of as many women as possible who are pushing, for progress, who are pushing for a transformative change, in the society that will go to that level. So by and large, we have done a whole lot. We have contributed. I am here in Maiduguri, for example, speaking with several other women, engaging with non-governmental organizations, building capacity, strengthening institution, and all of that. So, and women travel everywhere, despite the risk and all of that, because we had to get to as many people as possible to be able to make transformative change. We can't stay in Lagos and feel comfortable that because we don't have insurgency in Lagos, it cannot get there. That one is an old story. Nobody is safe. When there's a threat of injustice to one, it's a threat to a million. And that is the way that the women's movements have been pushing, the issues that we have been pushing right from the onset.
Wow, amazing. You see some of the reasons why we call her the general. Oh my goodness. Are you not just happy with what you've heard tonight? Thank you so much, General. You've really put it into a very strong framework because these questions come up all the time. What are women doing? What are we doing in leadership? But you see the way she has marshaled out all the achievements we've had. And this is just over how many years? Women are doing a whole lot. A whole lot. We are the front line. And that is why we need to be proud of the work we do. Now there's a whole lot of awareness on what sexual and gender-based violence is all about, more than what it used to be before. Yeah. People are now more willing to speak out to seek
Yeah.
for their rights, unlike before. Last week I got a call from a friend who said, "Oh, I have this neighbor. Every time she's maltreating her household, beating her and sending her out of the house, and we had to move in to take action." Before, no one would do that, but now
Yeah.
there's so much awareness as to what violation is all about and how to hold perpetrators accountable. And this is as a result of the work women are doing
Yes,
on
they're
the
doing it. Yeah.
ground. So it's just so amazing. It's just really so amazing. And we've heard a lot about challenges, the challenges women face in leadership. But you use the word that really, what I love that word, and you talked about transformative change. Now, I love talking about transformation because that is really what we want to see happen. Most of what we are doing is to bring about not just any change, but transformative change. So, how would you've given us a whole lot to really reflect on, on what women are doing. But moving forward, we know all the challenges are there. But what advice would you give to any woman out there in this tribe or those that are going to watch the replay who are really thinking of coming into leadership or trying to push through and get into decision making? What advice would you give them in ensuring that they push for the transformative agenda, bringing about transformative change in whatever space they find themselves in, despite the barrier they may face?
Yeah. Thank you very much. I think this is an area that is important for us to look at critically. There's a whole lot of call for affirmative action, like particularly for formal spaces and public spaces. And I'd ask myself, yes, quantity is good, but quantity must come with quality. You cannot achieve transformative change without a measure of quantity and quality. So and I remember Professor Danisola Akode of blessed memory. She tells me when I make this argument as a young activist, she says, Abiola, you know what? Let's get the numbers first. Then we know what to do with it. After all, the men that are going there, they also don't have the quality, they have the
Mm,
quantity. But looking back to that conversation, yes, I know that she made that conversation for us not to forget the fact that we need to be present to be able to be part of decision making.
mm,
Yes, presence is important, but the presence without quality is also an aberration.
true.
If we are there, but we are not making changes in the lives of women, if we are not transforming the lives of people, we can as well not be there. What
Mm,
we're just doing is just we're just warming the table. So the kind of politics that women can play cannot be the same politics that the men are playing. It must be
okay.
politics of quality. It must be
Mm,
politics with a difference. And that's why I think that some of the efforts that we have made as civil society organization is to continue to develop capacities. I can tell you, I had worked on women's leadership in Lagos for a very long time. In Akafat, I know we got to a level when a particular woman was going for a deputy governor in Lagos State. And I was invited by the governor to come and tutor the woman to be able to speak in public. And I remember that I was there with Lila St. Matthew Daniels. So she was going for a public meeting, the public campaign. So they asked us to come there. So we went there before the campaign. And we sat, the three of us. So we're fine with the questions. She was answering now, but we said, no, you go this way, you go this way. This is how to answer that question. So that it's important for us to also have an understanding that women that are coming to leadership, they're also prepared. When the men are going for that, they will do a prep before they go
yes.
out for the campaign. But we take a lot
Yes.
of things for granted. You go out for that campaign, then you start talking, and they're wondering, what the hell are you talking about?
Mm,
So we took our time, we did enough research, we looked at worldview, we looked at all the questions that you were. So by the time we saw the woman come up on the television, for that interview, you will be proud of her as a woman. Now, we don't have that kind of process in this country. Then there's this whole thing about the politicians saying, I remember the time when you say we want to build your capacity, they will say, who are you to build our capacity? It was
exactly.
sounding like, it was sounding like very degrading. How can you people say? So we started changing it. That we are doing capacity development. We are not building capacity, and all of that, so that they can tolerate whatever we want to talk to them about. But the point is that we have realized that before, even if you're a professor, before you go into position, it's important. Some people go to the way you speak in public, what you say, how you, the pitch of your tone, and all of that. People go for training. And I can remember that one of the women who contested for governorship in Lagos State, actually went to get trained, before she came out. And by the time she came out, she was different from who she was, and all of. So we need to build all that as part of the process of pushing for those women that can actually give us the kind of transformative change we want to have. Understanding about the economy. How do we deal? We have some people who are contesting election. I remember one man who was contesting for presidency. And we said we had this another Nigeria is possible in Agege. So we sent him a letter. Come to Penn Cinema. You are going to see grassroots people and all of that. The man said, where is Penn Cinema in Lagos? So my point is that some of them have not even been able to see people in grassroots at all. And you want to go and represent them there. So if you look at the development in a place like Kenya, you know that Kenya shifted their law a little bit in support of quota. Now, some of those women who won I had the opportunity of meeting with them. Some of those women who won, they won because they were known in their communities of what they are doing, the kind of change that they are making possible in their community. In that regard, you will be able to lead people to transform because you can feel it. You are not just coming because they handed it over to you. So, and that's why I'm saying that in politics, we should look beyond just the quantity. We should also look at the quality, of women that are serving. And I think that in the last period, we have had quite a number of women who had come up who maybe had understanding of some of these issues, but they are still very, very few. So we must push for women who can really, make that transformation. And transformation is a radical change. It's not a reformist theory. It's like there's a tree and you are asked a question. If you want to change this process, what do we do with the tree? Is it to uproot it or to cut the branches? If you cut the branches, they will grow back again. That is a reform. But transformative change, it's like we are uprooting that tree and we are rebuilding a new value system, that is sustainable, that can change the process. It's a long-term process. But I think if we don't start talking about transformative change, if we still continue saying what we just want to see, we just want to see faces of women, it will not work. So, and that's why the conversation should not be only on formal leadership. It must be a combination of formal and informal leadership. So that if we see women leading in agri group, Association of Farmers in Nigeria, AFAN, we must push for women to lead in that group. They don't necessarily have to continue to lead others. So we are always counting that other one. Whereas this informal one can actually transform the society more. When we have women in agri, we have women in business, we have women leading in those spaces. So we need to focus on both levels, the public space and also the informal spaces, so that we can achieve that kind of transformative change we are talking about. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is really phenomenal. We have an Amazon in the house, and if you're just joining us, this is the General. Just call her the General, Dr. Abiola Akiyode. She's a powerhouse in the women's movement. She's a leader, and today she's sharing from her wealth of experience and knowledge working in the trenches. See, what you see is what you get. She is really very diverse. And, she's just been pouring into us this evening. You've said a lot of things that is I just feel like jumping off my seat and just dancing because you're really hitting all the points, and for everyone that is here, I'm sure you're going to go away with something tonight. Now, you talked about the need for us to always reflect on the kind of change we're creating. We can't continue doing business as usual. And this applies to everyone. Whether you are running a hairdressing salon or you are any kind of entrepreneur or you're a woman in decision making, you need to ask yourself the critical question: how is what I'm doing creating change around me? And that is the critical question we want you to ask. How are you creating change? Because it's all this that comes together. Can you imagine the spiral effect if we're all very intentional about creating positive change in our own space? It's just going to be very phenomenal. We
Yeah.
can't keep sitting back and waiting for people to hand over the power to us. I love
Yeah.
what Dr. Abiola said. We need to start looking at the informal spaces of leadership as well, not just formal spaces, because we need to look at both the formal and informal and just see the kind of force we're building in there. So if you're here today, ask yourself that question. How am I creating change on the ground? How am I creating change in my own environment? You can lead without a title. Some of us give the excuse that I'm
Exactly.
not yet this, I'm not yet that. When I get there, if you cannot do it where you are now, you cannot do it when you get there. So
Exactly.
it's all about attitude. And we need to start shifting our mindset so that we can imbibe the correct one, which is we need quality. You can't just say, because I'm a woman, and give it to me on a platter of gold. No, we don't want that again. We want quantity and we want quality. She summarized it all. Quantity and quality, very, very important and very key. And so we need to ask ourselves, am I that kind of woman that will push forward the women's agenda, that would ensure that everyone, men, women, boys, girls, all get to enjoy their rights, all get to feel the essence of leadership. So this is very critical. And Dr. Bella has just said it in very, 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 very beautiful and concrete words, giving us lifetime experience. And so, Dr. Biola, I will just pause for now with you, just a second. So I get that we have what we call the Friday night hangout freebies, where we give out free data subscriptions. And so we want to take that right now and just some announcements before we come back to do some wrapping up. And
Thank
I'll
you.
read out. I don't know if you can see the comment, but I'll read. The chat box
No.
is really very, very active. Very, very
No, I
active.
haven't seen
The women are
it.
so excited. Oh my goodness.
I'm not seeing
Children
it.
says, yeah, so excited. Children says, how is what I'm going to do creating positive change around me? Ugonachi says there's a need to reflect on the change you're creating. Be intentional about making positive change. It's all about attitude, quantity, quality is the key. And a lot of people are just saying quantity, quality, quantity, quality. So that's a very powerful
Mhm.
takeaway from today's
Mm.
episode. And
Thank you.
so we're going to do our Friday night giveaway. So I want to see you type QQ and your number. QQ stands for quantity and quality. Quantity and quality. So QQ and your number. The first 10 persons get a free subscription of 500 Naira any network. So let's see who is going to be the first person. QQ. Yes, I have Cindy. Love it. Thank you. Keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming. And while the numbers are coming in, a member of my team is going to pick out the numbers, the first 10 numbers. I want to just remind us that the She Speaks Summit is coming up June 18th and 19th of this year. It's going to be an in-person summit, and the registration is going to be opened Monday, 29th of March for the early bird registration. So please watch out on the business page on my personal wall as well, so you can get more details on the registration. So I would ask you to take action on the early bird registration because you get a huge discount. So all the early birds in the house, please try to get your registration ongoing. You get a huge discount if you get yourself registered within the early bird period. It's a discount you really love, and I look forward to having you at the She Speaks Summit. This is our fourth She Speaks Summit, and we have a lineup of amazing, amazing, amazing speakers. If you've attended the She Speaks Summit, you would know that you can never attend and go back the same way that you came in. It's also a space to network, and we've had very powerful testimonies from previous participants of the She Speaks Summit. So She Speaks is happening again, and this time is not virtual. We had that of last year virtual because of the pandemic, but this time we are going to have it in person, but we're also minding the crowd. So there's also going to be some restrictions. You know what I mean? So cash in onto the early bird registration. And I'm super excited to announce the winner of replay shares, and that is Nasiba Yakubu. Nasiba Yakubu, congratulations. You've won yourself a cash prize of 2,500 Naira. Let's give it up for Nasiba. Nasiba, congratulations. In fact, Nasiba, you have a prize for season two because you've been the top winner consistently in the last couple of weeks, and we're going to give you a Friday night hangout gift. So, a member of my team will be in touch with you to give you your gift. We have a beautiful branded Friday night hangout throw pillow, and we're going to be sending it to you wherever your location is. So, a member of my team will be in touch with you, and we give you that throw pillow. Also, Jane Wosu, you did not win for last week, but you've been a serial winner on the Friday Night Hangout show. And so you also get a beautiful branded Friday Night Hangout throw pillow. A member of my team would be in touch with you to ensure that you get your amazing, beautiful Friday Night Hangout throw pillow. There is this amazing new kitchen in town, and she gifted us with packs of food. I think that was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we had some winners in the house. I got very beautiful feedbacks. The meal very sumptuous, tasty, delicious. And so tonight would be just spotlighting Splendor Kitchen.
Hello, welcome to Splendor Kitchen. Do you want to eat local, hygienically prepared meals and you do not have time to prepare them yourself? Then pick Splendor Kitchen. At Splendor Kitchen, we offer you local delicacies such as achicha and akidi naji, ukwa, abacha, bitter leaf soup, and so much more. We also bring you these local delicacies to your events. To contact us at the information on your screen. I remain your favorite local chef, Obiano Princess.
Okay, we're back very quickly. Thank you. Thank you, Splendor Kitchen. Please do patronize her. And I'm sure you would really, really give us good feedbacks. I've had very nice meals from her as well. Thank you so much, Splendor Kitchen, for being a sponsor of the Friday night hangout. And so, yes, we're going to go back to Njideka says, wow,
I'll
almost
try to get more light.
Njideka, you won't kill me. Almost. Oh my goodness. See Obonye so my son is online. Oh my God. Forgive me, I'm so excited to see him. Oh Obonye, thank you for coming on. You want food? Okay, don't worry. We'll talk about that later. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now we'll come back to our general in the house. Our general. She has been feeding us with so much knowledge and nuggets. And we're going to take the wrap up conversation and we'll be forward looking right now. So I would leave it up to you, Dr. Biola, to lead us in what direction you want to go in wrap up, what you have for women, for girls, for young girls especially. When you were talking about Dr. Okonjiwala, you talked about, and you also mentioned a lot of women who mentored you and who helped shape, the work you do on the ground today and in different spaces. So what advice would you give, especially in terms of mentorship? I get a lot of requests from young girls saying, oh, please, can you be my mentor? But I see that there's a whole lot of gap. We just use the word casually, be my mentor. I want to be mentored. You've gone through the process. What would be your advice to young women out there, young girls who are looking out for mentors?
Well, I think that mentoring is the way to go, because that's what is sustainable. I think that it's also important for young people to understand that mentors they're not perfect, and I think that's where we always have problems. Once you assign a mentor to yourself, you think the mentor cannot make mistake. You think the mentor is a perfect suit, but oftentimes, at times you get close to, let me first say that mentorship can come in different ways. You know, it can even come, it doesn't have to be your physical contact with the person. Let me give an example of myself. When I was growing up, I like Nelson Mandela. I like to read what's about him. So in a way, I was not seeing him, but he was a mentor. I was reading him and I was believing in what he's saying. It was what he was saying at that time, and I saw him as a figure of what I want to be. I remember that in the university, I had the struggle is my life. So, but I never in my whole life met with him. But through his words and deeds, I was his mentee, but we never had a contact. Because oftentimes we look for a physical mentors. So there are mentors that are not might not be physical, but that you admire from afar and you walk in their steps. So that's a possibility. And I remember also there was another lady, and that's where I'm saying that mentors are not perfect, that writes very well, about women's political participation. And I saw that as an area I was interested in. So I first met her through her writing in Nigeria here. Now, by the time I met her physically, I attended the program and a lot of people were saying, oh, maybe Abiola is good at constitution. Maybe there should be, let's support her. I was very young. The woman said, where is she coming from? Who is she? Now, as a young person, that's in a way affected my rating of that person that I have been reading about. Do you understand? And discouraged me from following her as a mentee. But whether I like it or not, a book about women political participation in Nigeria is part of what inspired me on other things that I wrote. So later on, I tried to move closer, to understand who exactly this mentor is. Now, oftentimes when we get to that level, then we came close, then I realized that maybe there was a wrong impression at a point in time about what is, a lot of us think that, and also I will blame young people at times, and I blame myself. We push very hard as if we want to change the world tomorrow. Their mentors get a little bit uncomfortable. They are asking themselves, are you opportunist? Are you an opportunist? Are you just trying to, and all of that? So that's why I said mentors are also not perfect. They're not magicians. They want to mentor you, but at the same time, they also want to know how genuine you are, to the cause that you are being mentored, about. So we must get that, because a lot of us get things, wrong in that regard, And yes, mentorship is also it's a gradual process. You can't get it all, at once. When I was being mentored by Professor Daddy Solakonde, maybe she didn't know, but I was watching her, I was following her, and mentorship is also about giving yourself to assignments. You can volunteer yourself and say, oh, they're doing something. Okay, I want to do it. I want to try it. I want to see whether it can work. Can I support you? At a point, I started going to represent Prof. She'll just say, do they want to do something on gender and constitution? Let Abiola go. But it was after a whole lot of tutelage. She had asked me to do research. I've done it without expecting money from her. I've done it without, so so it's a whole lot of process, which we. So I would say that we should not have too high expectations of our mentors, because if we do, we might be discouraged, too soon into the mentorship.
True.
We should also know that they're human beings. We should also know, so that's my point. And I think that that's always a problem when you build a huge expectation of your mentors, and along the line, the person did not meet up with the expectation, that you get discouraged. So I think that's is very important. But I would appeal to a whole lot of us, there's a need to be very much more tolerant of young people. They're quite different from us. They're the WW people, very creative, very innovative, always ready. Once they catch the fire, they are unstoppable. So we must understand that it's a different style, and we must appreciate their own style, and be ready to support that style, So it's and I think it's something that we need to understand. So yeah, it's a difficult line, but I think it's a line we have to toil. If we don't mentor young people, We will get to a level where all these things that we have done will just be kept on one side, and there will be nobody, to take it over. And the other thing about the crop of mentors that I'm seeing, they're also very sensitive. They're very sensitive. They're very sensitive also to the truth. When you tell them, no, 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 don't do that. I don't think what you're doing is right. They'll say, oh, because she does not want to mentor us. Or because,
Yeah.
So they have to also be careful about being oversensitive. You can be corrected. Several
True.
times I was corrected by Professor Akode. I was corrected by Bisola Terolagbegi. I will write and they will tell you, no, you can't write like that. I remember there was a document I did for Bisola Terolagbegi when she carried it and she put mark. They said, this woman, she does not want me to, but she was just being frank with me. And she called me later and she noticed that I was a little bit like, maybe she didn't want to encourage me to write. Said, no, you can't write like that. If you write like that, that is plagiarism. You can't copy other people, and all of that. So the point is that you must also be ready to listen, to the mentors. They will
True.
criticize you. When they criticize you, you know that they are criticizing you not because they don't like you, but because they want you to move forward. Yes, I also agree. Some mentors, some of us can be too harsh. Hey, we can be too harsh in the way we put things forward. One of the things that I learn and I tell people is that once you know the weakness of the person you are dealing with, if you take it against that person, you are the bad person. Because maybe the person speaks very strongly, and you know that that's a weakness. And when the person tells you, don't do it and speaks in that language, you should understand that that's the way the person passes the message across. If you take it against the person, you are the bad person. It's not that person. So I think by and large, it's just the process we need to build from the side of the young people. They need to be much more tolerant. They need to also be dedicated to ensuring that they get what they want to get. They should also know that mentors are great people, but they are not perfect people. So that when they make mistake, they will know that the mistake might not be intentional. So what you do in that regard is to ask that your mentor, I felt bad about what you did. Why did you do that to me? Have a discussion. Mentorship is about communication too, so that the person knows when they are derailing in the process of mentorship.
This is awesome. This is really awesome. Thank you so much. I have a lot of young women here um, who are also looking up to me and to so many other women as mentors. And Dr. Abiola, the general, has just said it. She said it very well, just the way it is. It's both their responsibilities and they are also, for every right there's a responsibility attached to it. And so
Mhm.
it's not just on the side of the mentors, even you as the mentee, you need to also in the language we use now, we say be calming down. You also need to be calming
Yes.
down. You need to be calming down. And just know that there are good intentions. Everyone has a weakness. There are good intentions. So don't use that weakness of your mentor against her. And for mentors as well, we also need to know that the young ones are in a different age altogether. Sometimes it's difficult for us to even understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
But then, like Dr. Biola said, there has to be that sustainability plan. Imagine all the amazing work we've done over the years. If we don't have young women taking over, then the whole thing will fall through the gaps. And finally, Dr. Biola, before we let you go, looking forward to 2023, what is your vision for women?
Hmm. Well, I think we need to all work hard to push more women in politics. We need people like Joy in that space. We need as
People like
many women as possible, to join the race in 2023. We need to change the face of politics in Nigeria. And it's not
true.
moi moi. It's
It's
not
not
moi moi.
no
It's
at
not moi
all.
moi. We are not working yet. And we should have started. This is 2021. We need a better Findu and all of our sisters. Let them go in there. We can be doing, but I think we need more. We need to talk with women in business. We need to talk to a whole lot of people to engage more women to be part of the common politics. We can't leave the country the way it is.
No.
A lot of people, it's becoming very bad. Even some people who believe in this country before, we hear them saying, I am frustrated. I had someone who was telling me about, I want my children to travel. And I said, why now? I said, why can't they find life here? I said, but you did. He said, no, 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 no. I don't think there's any hope for them here. So people are getting frustrated by the day. And what that means is that the governance system is not responding to the needs and aspiration of the Nigerian people. We need to find a
True.
replacement. And women are the replacement that we're talking about. So let's go out there. Let's be part of politics. Let's change the dynamics of politics. Let's transform the political space in Nigeria. I think I want to see more women in 2023. And it's a responsibility for all of us. You can't sit there and think it's not your business. You can't sit down and look, oh, we need to be part of that process to make more women out there. So let's begin to ask people, take your voters card, make sure you register, make sure you join political parties, make sure you begin to do something in your communities that can make you eligible and a legitimate candidate by people in your community to be able to run. So that is what I would say. So
It's a
we
taking
can make the
decision.
president.
Thank you so much, the General. You all would
It's a
agree with
pleasure.
me that we've had an amazing time today. The General, you can see she's very grounded. When I told you we are having an Amazon General in the house, you thought I was joking. See how she's just dishing it left, right, and very relaxed about it. She's one woman I deeply respect the work she does. It really so much work, so much work. And Dr. Abiola, in case they want to get in touch with you or to follow you, please can you let us know your Facebook, if you're on Facebook, or your social media handle, or how they can be in touch with you.
Okay, my Facebook is Abiola Akiyode, so you can link me up on Facebook. I don't visit Facebook a lot, so sorry about that. But my my Twitter handle is also my name, Abiola Akiyode, and so that's me. That's the one I do. Then my WhatsApp number, it's also my popular number, which is 08055951858. So you can also reach me on WhatsApp.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been amazing having you. And I look forward to having you on this show again sometime very soon. It's just been amazing. So much love for you here from the Friday night hangout. Right? So much. I
Thank you
hope
so
you have
much.
time to go through and read some of the comments
Thank
and your
you.
feedback.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
It's a pleasure to
Thank
be
you.
here and well done for what you do. I wish you very well, my sister. Well done. Well done.
Thank
We
you,
appreciate
General.
you in the
Thank you
movement.
so
Thank you
much.
so much.
I appreciate you too. Okay, we'll see you some other time very soon.
All right. Take care. Take care, sis.
All
Bye.
right,
Take care, all
bye.
the sisters in the house and the brothers in the house. I say ciao.
Yeah, that's the General.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Okay. So, who is excited? Oh my goodness. You would agree with me that this is an amazing way to wrap up season 2. Oh, it's so hot here. So much nuggets. If you are not inspired after today's episode, then we need to have a conversation. So today has been so inspiring. We saved Dr. Biola for this time to wrap up season 2. It's just been so much here. And I want to tell you that you can lead without a title. And that's the essence of the conversations we've been having throughout the Moments Month of March. Remember, we said it's a time to review, to assess, to evaluate, and to look at what you were doing to create change around you. Oftentimes, we keep pointing finger. Is the government? Is them? Is they? Let's start from us. Change starts from us. So you be the change you want to see in the world. And today we've talked about the importance of the transformative agenda. In season 2, we started from the month of January, where we looked at different things, what you have in your hands. We looked at your vision. And then we moved into the month of February, where we got you really concrete in doing stuff. And now in the month of March, we got you inspired that you can be all that you want to be. Being a woman doesn't limit you, it places no restriction on you. You can only be the barrier to yourself. You have the agency to break through all forms of barrier. So, power woman, I need you to step out and do you. Be comfortable with failing because failing is the building blocks of success. So, if you want to be a woman that is actively participating in decision making at high level, you need to be comfortable with learning. We talked today about the importance of capacity development. You can't be comfortable not knowing. You can't be comfortable doing the same thing over and over and again without improving and enhancing your skill set. And you can't be comfortable if you're not impacting knowledge to people around you. Because you're in a space, there has to be some sort of positive change. There has to be an impact. And that way, you would know that you're living your purpose. You're also supporting. I always talk about human beings being created to be interdependent and not independent because there's something in me that needs to fulfill something about your vision, and we must work together. We're looking forward to 2023 Nigeria. We need to have more women in public spaces. And this takes us into the theme for April. In the month of April, which starts off as season 3, we're going to be looking at how public policy affects our everyday life. Some of us here are comfortable not knowing anything about governance, not knowing anything about the different kinds of policies we think is for them. We're not involved. But in the month of April, we're going to be looking at the different types of public policies and how it affects you in your everyday life and why you should be concerned and take an interest in being an active citizen. Like we'll always say, if you want change, you need to be the change. I am really looking forward to having all of you join me in season 3 of Friday Night Hangout. In season 3, we're also going to be celebrating 1 year anniversary of the Friday Night Hangout. Yes, yes, yes. In a few weeks, Friday Night Hangout is going to be 1 year, 1 year of consistently showing up. And we have prizes for most of you here to say thank you. Thank you for showing up every Friday, 7 p.m. Thank you so much for supporting this vision. Thank you for so much for making this tribe an active and engaged one. Without you, there'll be no Friday Night Hangout. So you make it all happen. And so on a 1 year anniversary, my team and I will be saying thank you in our own special way. So we look forward to having you on board that very special episode where we celebrate our 1 year anniversary. I'm super excited. 1 year, like my sister Dr. Abiola will say, no be moi moi. 1 year of consistently showing up every Friday night. Nah. It ain't a joke. So thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And finally, before we wrap up, I want to invite you to take action and join the 30 Days Abundance Challenge. In this month of March, we're having a discount, and the price is now only 10,000 naira. And for 10,000 naira, you get to participate in the 30 Days Abundance Challenge. You get to be part of a private Facebook group. You have live access to the program. And beyond that, you actually will walk away with actionable content, things you can start implementing right away. We are talking about transformation. We're talking about leadership. We're talking about capacity development. The 30 Days Abundance Challenge is one of such courses that is designed with you in mind to help you build your skill set, to give you clarity as to what you should be doing and how you should be doing it, and also just to let you be you and do you, irrespective of what is happening around you. So cash in on our March discount,
You
which is the
have a
Women's Month
business or personal
discount.
goal
We
and don't know where to start? Then search no more. I can help you. I am Joy Onyeso, a serial entrepreneur, a transformative and breakthrough leadership coach. I'm also a best-selling author. Today, I'm thrilled to show you how to kickstart taking inspired actions. I will also show you how my Christian growth mindset helps.
Hey, so that's just a little nugget of the 30 Days Abundance Challenge, and I'm sure that you would want to participate in it. Okay, Ladies and gentlemen, power woman, power man, thank you so much. DJ, are you sure we can have some Friday night hangout music? So while we're waiting for the DJ to give us the music, I also want to use the time out to say thank you to members of my team who make sure the Friday night hangout happens, who make sure that you get your top-ups, your cash prizes. So a shout out to Adeze Onyeso, my very darling daughter PA, who makes sure that we have the Friday night hangout music. And to Favor, who takes care of, the studio setup and all of those, to Sarah Ubu, to Success Markers. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I think that I'm frozen. Okay. It's Friday night hangout, so let's celebrate. There is a new beginning.
Oh yeah, it's a Friday night. It's Friday night hangout. Let's celebrate. A season of new beginning. Let's rejoice. Thank God it's Friday. It's Friday night hangout. Let's celebrate. A season of new beginning. Let's rejoice. Thank God it's Friday. Friday night hangout. Oh yeah. Come join in the laughter. Let's
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And on this note, I just want to say bye. See you next week, Friday. Remember to have some fun. Love you. And see you next week, Friday.